bullets you hear in the background, they do basically police training here at Summit Point Motorsports as well. So that's why you're hearing those bullets going off, in case you're wondering. An interesting aspect to being out here. Beautiful 190 Mercedes, look at that. Gorgeous. Jaguar. Look at that beauty. Alfa Romeo. Sorry, Aston Martin. Hello. Shmee is right behind there. By the way, for those of you that follow Shmee, a lot of you do, I'm sure you should be following Drivin Ivan too. Search any car in Drivin Ivan. The truth about driving the Lamborghini Countach. Recently reviewed the Z8, the Z1 BMWs, Lancia Flaminia, Alfa Romeo SZ. Imported a few cars from Europe, including my Barchetta right there, and my MGF, which I drove on the Nürburgring. But here comes Shmee, I believe. Let's see. Shmee's coming down the pike. That's him in the Ford GT. Let's see. Doing their timing, trying to get it perfect. Leaves are falling. Love the sound of the air cooled, huh? Very friendly guy there. He owns a lot of cars here, actually. That Porsche's his, and that beautiful Alfa Romeo Junior Zagato. There you go. Shmee. TR6 Triumph. .996, great car. I've actually driven my 996 on the track here. It's great. have to go to the Simeon to see cars like that on the track and running around at speed. But it's a special day here. Yeah. Love this 912. V8 and the DB9 V12 6-speed manual. They are special cars. You do feel like James Bond when you drive one. There's absolutely no question about it. Nice little look at my Barchetta there. Do search any car in Drivin Ivan. I've got a couple Jags too. X-Type and I bought the cheapest XJR. Both of the Jags are for sale too, actually. Drivin Ivan has too many cars. Want to know what I drive? Search, what does Drivin Ivan drive? These guys are just having fun, you can tell. Amelia. And again, those are from the those bullets that you hear flying are from the police training and special training here at Summit Point Raceway. Kind of interesting. Too fast. I was being attacked by a bug in that last shot. That's why I lost focus there. It's fall, but it's kind of still like summer here. It's 81 degrees today, believe it or not, at Summit Point, West Virginia. But you can see the leaves starting to change, that's for sure. It's very cold at night. It's down into the 30s already, so. And there's your weather forecast. Oh yeah, Ferrari is coming. Let's go see it. I'm so excited. 166 Inter by Touring. One of the first Ferraris. Had a beautiful tour of the Ferrari factory back in the early 90s. And then I just went again last summer. And I show you that on YouTube. I think you can find my old Ferrari tour on YouTube also. But the best thing to look for there is my private tour of the Lamborghini Galleria before it opened to the public with Valentino Balboni. That was in 1999. Some 25 years ago, believe it or not. I've loved cars ever since I was a kid, and I've been shooting car videos for as long as I can remember. Ooh, that one's getting shaky. Here come the Porsches. And a Jaguar. Sorts of different motor racing. Not really at speed too much here because they're trying to adhere to timings and things like that, but still an interesting form of motorsport. I was in Europe, Tuscany, for about a month and a half last summer. That's when I imported a couple cars, 3 cars actually. Check out my Martini livery 126 Fiat. That's such a cool car. The Barchetta that I imported and drove here today. But I also imported an MGF. And I got to drive that on the Nürburgring 2 laps. That was amazing. I drove that about 4,000 kilometers, 2,500 miles all around Europe. And it was a pleasure, really. Got to review the Lancia Ypsilon, and I just posted the Alpha 146 that I was driving all around Italy. My friend, she inherited the car from her uncle. Well, it's a very, very clean Alpha, and it's a great video because it's all shot in Tuscany, as is the video I shot traveling around Europe in the Lancia Ypsilon Hybrid. That's a cool video, so check that one out too. I just posted a video of, I call it air-cooled craving. I just crave driving my air-cooled 911 if I haven't driven it in a while. I do have a 996 Cabriolet Carrera 4, similar to the one that's on the track today, and I love driving that car. It's amazing with the all-wheel drive grip. It's just insane, honestly. But the sound of the air-cooled and the feel of it, light steering, it's just incredible. And so, yes, the air-cooled 911. Check that one out. And I bought the cheapest Porsche 911 on YouTube because I bought it quite some time ago when they were not as desirable as today. Thankfully. Nothing like them. And I love my Targa. Gullwing meets Jaguar. 7 outright victories at Le Mans for Jaguar. Audi actually leads the overall count, I believe. Porsche in second place. Or Audi has the most wins with a certain make, that's right. I think Porsche wins overall, like 19 wins. Yeah. But Audi has the most wins for a single car at Le Mans. I mean, Mercedes 190, whatever it is. 190 SL. The poor man's Mercedes back then, actually. For those that couldn't afford the 300 SL. Not really true, but, you know, they were more affordable. I think they were more stylish, more appealing to the softer side, I think. Don't throw me out here, but it's just my take. I was just telling a Mercedes SL owner, actually I have an SL, and they're just elegant cars that you still see being driven all over in very, very nice areas of the country. Anyway, Chicago, LA, New York, DC, you name it. People still drive those lovely SLs. They're just so elegant. Watch my 75 review. Watch my 74 review and my 83 review of the SL. Windy. Looky there. That sounds Yes, sir. So here's Shmee.
Here we are.
Shmee,
Yeah,
Drivin Ivan. Tell me, how'd you get to be in the Mille Miglia Warmup? And
we drove Mille Miglia this year in Italy.
Okay,
They
excellent.
do the Mille Miglia experience where you can drive a modern supercar chasing the classics.
Right.
So we drove with my SLS Black Series. And the Ford GT's been out here it's out here for about 6 months to go to a load of different events.
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking, actually met with Mark in Italy.
Right.
Who said this was on. So we were like, fits quite well. We're going to be out here. Let's get involved. So the GT is here, which I think has probably come from the furthest away of any of the cars here, because obviously it's all the way from the UK. But today is training day, and I tell you what, it might sound freaking obvious, but in a car like this, you have no idea where the hoses are because you can't see anything. It's so low in the car, you've got no idea where you're crossing. But we're actually doing all right. We've had a couple of pretty fairly spot on PCs so far, so long may it continue.
So you're enjoying it?
Of course.
I mean,
Do you know, I tell you what, this weather at this time of year is absolutely beautiful.
Isn't
We've
it?
flown straight here from Italy.
Yeah.
We've been at the Ferrari Finale Mondiale and come straight out over here. And it was pouring with rain in Italy. It was absolutely horrible. And this is perfect.
Which airport was that in Italy? I'm just
We
curious.
flew from near Bologna.
Okay,
Of course.
there you go.
The,
So What do you think of this area? You know, you're kind of near Washington, D.C. Have you gotten a chance to go see the monuments?
We literally got here at midnight last night.
Oh, wow.
So we're off the plane straight in. Car arrived. I was just wiping it down. You look a little bit prettier because it's been in a warehouse for the last 2 months.
That's great.
I mean, at this time of year, obviously, when you have the foliage and everything looking so pretty.
It's gorgeous around here.
Yeah,
you know, because you get this in England, too.
I speak to everyone, and they all say you need to be really delicate with speed around here. Take it very easy or you land in a lot of trouble very quickly. So
I drove here in my Fiat Barchetta today, and you know, it's the middle of the day on a Wednesday, so no one's really. I had fun.
Yeah,
you know, the top's down, the foliage is out.
I don't want to land in.
You don't want to drive quick near a school. You know, it's just common sense stuff here in America. You know, get out of the twisties
everyone's like,
out in the
if you go
country.
20 over in Virginia, you'll find yourself in some serious trouble. Anyway, we won't do any of that.
9-year fine, 10-year mine. That's what we say in America.
Oh, really?
9-year fine, 10-year mine. But
well, it depends
most
where you
cops
are.
are.
If you're in Los Angeles, nobody's driving less than 20 over.
Yeah,
Everyone's
exactly.
20 over.
Yeah, on the highway, you know, in Florida and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's gonna be fun to experience it. It's a little bit of a calmer pace than the Mille Miglia in Italy.
Oh yeah.
The warm up is like a little bit more opportunity to learn and take it in. And it's just super cool to be around such different cars. You know, you got everything from the Gullwing and the Alfa.
I know, it's crazy. What's your favorite car here?
And an F8 and
that Junior Zagato is gorgeous.
I love 300 SLs.
300 SLs.
I drove my first Mille Miglia in a 300 SL. First proper one I did.
That's the one. What was your first car?
A little Renault Clio, European hatch.
You know, I reviewed. You can watch Drivin Ivan Renault Clio, and you can see the Clio Williams. I actually reviewed one.
Oh, your Clio Williams. Okay, mine was not a Clio Williams. Mine was your base 70 horsepower entry.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It was not a Williams.
But those are cool. I rented a Lancia Ypsilon when I was in Europe, and I drove a 146 Alpha all around. And I bought 3 cars there. I bought the MGF and that Fiat Barchetta, and then a Fiat 126. I just imported a Ginetta, and no one here knows what that is. I bet you do.
Of course I do.
It's
like trying to tell people what this is in the UK.
I imported a Ginetta G26.
Yeah.
What do you think of Ginettas?
I don't know too much about them. In fact, I don't think have I even ever driven?
Yeah, they're so, even in England, they're
no,
like
I've only
so
driven
weird.
one of the race cars. I forget exactly which model as part of an exhibition, briefly. But yeah, you know, the UK has a lot of, how do I say it, like, track, fun, unusual things. You know, Caterham, Ginetta, obviously Lotus as they were, not necessarily what they are now, but Ariel, the Atoms, DAC,
amazing.
Mono, like tons of
Noble.
very quirky, exactly.
Noble.
Like the list goes on with the different quirky
Caterham
brands.
The number of Lotus 7 replicas you have there. I have an Esprit and a Europa.
Oh, cool.
So the number of Caterham replicas you have over there is astounding. What do you call it? The Robin something? What's it called?
I'm not sure exactly, but there's tons.
So that's what I was going to ask you. I don't want to ask you what everybody else asks you. I want to ask you, what cars in England are your favorites that we don't have here in America? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think?
Don't have
or vice versa. What are the favorite cars you have here that?
Well, you know, maybe you don't know. So I have a 2020 Shelby GT500.
Okay.
And one of the cool things about that is you can't get them in Europe. So I bought it here, kept it here, and then imported it to the UK.
Wow.
So it might sound obvious here because here a Shelby Mustang is no big deal.
Yeah.
But in Europe, a Shelby Mustang is like seriously rare. For some perspective, there are 3 times as many of these in the UK as there are GT500s.
That's fascinating.
So the GT500 is really rare. You know, even the older cars, even like an older 60s Mustang, they're very rare outside of the park.
Right.
For sure there are some, but nothing like over here. It's just funny how obviously there's slight differences. Mustangs you can now buy on the Europe side, Corvettes as well, since the C8s. But before C8s you couldn't get a Corvette in Europe. You had to buy it here and import it.
That's crazy.
Even like a C7, like if you have a C7 ZR1 or something in Europe, ZR1 I should say, that's seriously rare, like seriously rare.
My most recent post, the car I just reviewed is a Bullet Mustang, actually.
Okay, yeah, we did get bullets.
When I drove the MGF on the Nürburgring, I licensed my MGF in Europe.
Okay.
And I drove it around like 4,000 kilometers.
Nice.
And when at my hotel, I met this guy who had a Roush Mustang prototype.
Yeah.
And he's the guy that shot the laps for me. I mean, how many Roushes do you have in England?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it was crazy that this German guy, this young, enthusiastic kid, had a
But
Roush.
that's the fun. It's
you know?
a similar thing here, though, right? People here, if you have a right-hand drive car here, for example, it stands out.
Like the
People are
Ginetta.
somehow attracted to that in the same way that, as you mentioned, some people would be attracted to a Roush Mustang in Germany just because, like, what is this? You're the only one who's got one. But that's half the fun, isn't it? Different cars, different things. People like different stuff. All kind of comes together.
You have many of your favorite cars now. What are some that you still want?
Oh, there are tons. Just
I know,
finances
just-
get in the way. Carrera GT, Ferrari F50, Lexus LFA.
Yeah.
I got a ton of my, like, you know, everybody has cars of an era that they loved. For me, that was the era I was getting into driving. So the stuff that's 10, 15 years old was really my, like, 10 to 15, 20 years old is really, like, my era. Some of the stuff that I really wanted to buy, I have picked up recently, like a Clio V6, a BMW 1M.
It'd be awesome.
An earlier
Be awesome.
Abarth. Just things that are fun that you can go and rag around. And
The
drive.
Abarth, yeah. Those are great. That's so funny. Well, cool. What? It's so awesome to get to talk to you. So awesome that you're here. I hope you enjoy your time in America.
I think we're gonna have a good.
You'll get to see DC at some point. You will, because you're going to the embassy.
I've been into DC a couple of times before. When I had my AMG GT Black Series out here,
Right.
we stopped in DC and drove through the city. Definitely scraped the front splitter going into some parking garages in DC. But yeah, it happens. So seeing the city, it's an interesting place because as a visitor, when you go to a lot of cities, and I've been to 39 states, I think I've been to. A lot of the cities you go to are actually quite similar from one to another. DC is somehow quite different. The architecture, the buildings, the style, the things around it. It's not like being in Manhattan or in San Francisco or in.
Old here is,
it's more
old
European.
here is
Let's say it's more
1600s. It's
European.
super old. Most old here is 1800s, 1700s. So it's not like jolly old England,
Bit different. Very different to being in central London.
Well, Shmi, I hope you enjoyed that review as much as I did. There you go.
It's been nice to meet you.
Say goodbye to Drivin Ivan's audience. And
thanks for watching, guys.
Shmi and Drivin Ivan. And thank you so much for watching the Mille Miglia Warmup here at Summit Point Raceway in Summit Point, West Virginia. Thanks a lot,
Nice to meet you. See you
Remember,
later.
Search any car in Shmi, and also search any car in Drivin Ivan. Thanks for watching. I'm Drivin Ivan.
No worries, you got it.